This video is sponsored by the low polygon Dinosaur t-shirts and mugs. And phone cases.
Could they just include the accurate Spinosaurus as well? Like, at least make it like a 2017 to 2018 Spino. Because I assume the video was made in like 2017 to 2018. I think it's 2018 though, so correct me if I'm wrong.
Check them out. Dilophosaurus versus Utahraptor.
Okay, so this is more of a fair fight than the last two. But damn, what's with that Deinonychus screech from Jurassic Park?
What? Surely this isn't a fair fight.
Yes, it is. Sort of. Someone would win a bit more though.
Well, let's find out. Dilophosaurus lived in what is now North America during the early Jurassic, about 190 million years ago.
You're close, but it's 193.
The genus name means two-crested lizard, and no, it did not have a venom frill like Jurassic Park suggested.
One of the earliest carnivores, we now know Dilophosaurus is actually poisonous.
Wrong, the venom frills were due to the DNA gaps being filled with frog DNA, and you knew that. Utahraptor is the oldest known and largest of the dromaeosaurids.
No, that belongs to a genus called Nuthetes.
Utahraptor was what Velociraptor was
And also, stop trying to show raptors pack hunting, bro.
supposed to be in Jurassic Park.
No, it was supposed to be Deinonychus.
Yes, the real Velociraptor was the size of a chicken, but Utahraptor came along to save us from broken dreams. Anyway, let's get this fight started. First, some stats. Dilophosaurus, height 2 meters.
Only the largest specimen, as you can see here, even though it's a bit shorter than 2 meters.
Length 6 meters.
The largest specimen is 7 meters.
Weight 1 ton in the upper max range.
Dude, the largest specimen is just around 400 kilograms. What, is it supposed to be some kind of EDP 445 in the early Jurassic?
Bite force around 2000 newtons.
I searched around the internet and I can't find a reliable source. But all I can tell is that Dilophosaurus didn't have a strong bite.
Very weak. Speed 32 kilometers per hour.
I really hate doing math. Okay, so Usain Bolt's time to sprint 100 meters is around 9.58 seconds. A 2022 study found that Dilophosaurus would lose to Usain Bolt in a 100-meter sprint by 2 seconds. So the Dilophosaurus time to sprint around 100 meters is 11.58 seconds. Now let's use that to divide 100, and we have a result of around 8.64 meters per second. Now we just have to multiply that by 3.6, and we have a result of around 31.1 kilometers per hour. So Megadinosaur should have used 31 kilometers per hour, even though it's a minor mistake. Also, don't forget to mention that even though it doesn't have a really strong bite, it still had jaws strong enough to puncture bone.
Diet, prosauropods, small dinos, and possibly fish.
Now, the Dilophosaurus fed on fish and small prey. Okay, prosauropod thing, 1988. I guess, but at the same time, it's kind of outdated. But at the same time, the Dilophosaurus is the apex predator of its environment. So it's definitely possible.
Now onto the weapons of Dilophosaurus. Dilophosaurus probably did not possess a venom frill and spit. Dilophosaurus had 13 centimeter hand claws and 15 centimeter toe claws.
Now, I can't say it's right or wrong because I didn't find any reliable source.
It also possessed a bony head crest, which was most likely used for attracting a mate, but could come in handy during battle.
No. Another theory is temperature regulation.
Okay, now onto the stats of Utahraptor.
Of course, that's the Velociraptor from the Jurassic Park. At least it didn't nab it off from...
Height 1.7 meters. Length 7 meters.
No, 4.9 to 5.5 meters.
Weight 1 ton.
No, 280 to 300 kilograms. Lighter and therefore smaller than the Dilophosaurus.
Bite force, I'm guessing more than Deinonychus, so let's say 8,500 newtons.
There is a source, but it uses PSI 1000.
Speed 50 kilometers per hour.
So it ran around 24 to 32 kilometers per hour, which is around the same speed, if not slower, than the Dilophosaurus. It's quite a bit faster in some cases, but on average, it's slower.
Diet, small prey, but also large herbivores.
Hell no, it could... hunt something like Gastonia, but not something like a Iguanacolossus, not something like a Sidarasaurus.
Now onto the weapons of Utahraptor. Each inside toe had a large 10-inch hooked claw that was controlled by a strong tendon. This claw was held upward when the animal was walking or running. However, when it attacked, the tendon snapped tight and the claw clamped down with great speed and force, slicing deeply into its victim.
The disemboweling theory is just out of the window. Please stop using it.
Recently, Gignac et al. 2010 presented a selection of bite marks to show Deinonychus is capable of deeply puncturing bone with powerful bites. Experiments with modern cow bones suggest that Deinonychus needed a whopping 8,200 newtons to puncture Tenontosaurus bones, to a degree seen in the fossil remains. Utahraptor also possessed excellent binocular vision and strong arms. Okay, now onto the advantages of Dilophosaurus in this battle. Poor Dilophosaurus didn't have many advantages in this battle.
Okay, let me list a few. It's larger, had jaws that were still strong enough to puncture bone. It's maybe slightly faster, and it is quite agile. Unidirectional breathing indicates relatively high metabolic rates and therefore high levels of activity, indicating that Dilophosaurus was likely a fast, agile hunter. According to a 2021 study by paleontologist Matthew A. Brown and who is that person's name?
Besides being slightly larger and possessing tougher bones. But maybe he wasn't such a pussy. In 1988, Paul dismissed the idea that Dilophosaurus was a scavenger and claimed that strictly scavenging terrestrial animals are a myth. He stated that the snout of Dilophosaurus was better braced than had been thought previously, and that the very large, slender maxillary teeth were more lethal than the claws. Paul suggested that it hunted large animals such as prosauropods. Dilophosaurus had a bony head crest, which could have been used for headbutting. Why not? Okay, now onto the disadvantages of Dilophosaurus. Like Allosaurus, Dilophosaurus possessed a very weak jaw.
Was still strong enough to puncture bone.
And he didn't have a slashing axe bite.
Neither did the Allosaurus.
Samuel Paul Wells thought that it used its front premaxillary teeth for plucking and tearing rather than biting, and the maxillary teeth at the back for piercing and slicing. He thought that it was probably a scavenger, and that if it did kill large animals, it would have done so with its hands and feet rather than its jaws.
Okay. So there was previously a T-Rex treatment known as the Dilophosaurus treatment in 1986. Okay. And to correct, these crests made by the Dilophosaurus had would also likely had a role in species identification or intrasexual selection, as in some modern birds.
Dilophosaurus was also slightly slower and less agile than Utahraptor.
In most cases, it's around the same speed, likely a bit faster.
Dilophosaurus had much smaller hand and toe claws, compared to the massive lethal claws possessed by Utahraptor.
The Utahraptor didn't use them for disemboweling. Smaller ones were thought to have climbed trees, and there is also another hypothetical method called raptor prey restraint.
Dilophosaurus likely had less hunting experience.
No, it was the apex predator of its environment. Although, to be fair, it's probably less equipped to fight.
Okay, now onto the advantages of
Oh my lord, not that completely scaly. Is that Echo?
Utahraptor. Well, he was faster and more agile.
Actually, it was more of a heavyweight fighter.
Utahraptor also had a stronger bite force, and he would have battled viciously using biting attacks and claws. Utahraptor was no stranger to attacking large dinosaurs.
Okay, it could attack Gastonia, but Gastonia isn't even a large one. Large ones like Iguanacolossus, Sidarasaurus, how would Utahraptor even dare to face these guys?
Utahraptor was also one of the most intelligent dinosaurs to ever live.
Okay, so they potentially had intelligence on their side. I guess they're more intelligent, but definitely not the smartest ones out there. No, that title does not belong to Troodon. That doesn't even exist.
Now onto the disadvantages of Utahraptor. Well, he was slightly smaller and lighter. His bones were less dense, which means maybe they'd break easier during battle. Okay, let's fight! Utahraptor and Dilophosaurus slowly circle each other. Dilophosaurus is hesitant as Utahraptor rushes towards him. Utahraptor leaps onto Dilophosaurus and digs its sickle claws into Dilo's side, biting viciously at the same time.
Okay, so it's unlikely that Utahraptor could jump that high. How would it even leap like it did from Jurassic Fight Club? A more likely scenario would be that the Utahraptor would try and just bite the Dilophosaurus on the neck, but misses.
Dilophosaurus quickly rolls to the ground and crushes Utahraptor under his 1-ton body. Utahraptor suffers a broken forearm, but keeps attacking. Utah leaps onto Dilo again and digs his sickle claws deep. Dilo's intestines spill to the ground. The end.
Okay, so here's a more likely scenario and how the fight will turn out. Utahraptor and Dilophosaurus are hungry. They see each other, and there is a Protoceratops carcass. They try and intimidate each other by, I don't know, just do it random, just bellows and stuff, and they circle around each other. Both attack each other, they miss each other. Dilophosaurus, of course, then attacks Utahraptor again. So does Utahraptor attack Dilophosaurus. Utahraptor misses, Dilophosaurus bites down on the Utahraptor's neck. The Utahraptor manages to break free, and then tries to bite on a Dilophosaurus' body. The Dilophosaurus tries to flail around with its 400-kilogram body mass, throwing around the Utahraptor. The Utahraptor it eventually succeeds. The Utahraptor falls to the ground. The Dilophosaurus manages to get another neck bite off, killing the Utahraptor as a result.
Verdict: I reckon Utahraptor would win 90% of the time.
No, I'd say it's around 60 to 70% in favor of Dilophosaurus.
Simply more badass.
Bruh. You only came up with that?
I usually say, but do not sleep on, insert dinosaur name. But this time, no, you can sleep on Dilophosaurus.
Man, that's just mean. You're just giving it Ceratosaurus treatment now.
I'm not calling him a pussy, but this dino really doesn't have much going for him.
Well, same goes for something like a Montosaurus, and yet this thing could kill a Rex. So why can't a Dilophosaurus kill a Utahraptor?
Then again, people used to underestimate Allosaurus, and turns out he's quite badass, so you never know. Who do you think would win the fight? Please let me know in the comments below. Also, which dinosaur battle video would you like to see next?
Okay, so that's basically the end of it. That video is just absolutely biased, no cap. I already said it before, but this is paleontology, not Twitter. Don't base your opinions on bias, base your opinions on facts. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoy it. See you all next one.